think we'll get started here. My clock just turned to be the top of the hour, so let's get started and learn together on how to bring young lions into our clubs and into leadership roles. I am Lion Jody Burmester from Lions Virtual, and I'm excited to be here today to welcome all of you and also to welcome our amazing group of presenters. I am going to spotlight them right now. Oh, they are spotlighted already. I'm going to let you all know that our friends from New Zealand are being led by Hamish Price, who's a current zone chair, believe it or not, down in his area, and he has brought this team together. You may have recognized him from some of the posts he's been doing in the Global Lions Forum recently. He is a young lion leader who is excited to share what they've learned and the knowledge he and his club have learned on how to grow lionism. So Hamish, I'm going to stop talking and I am going to turn it over to you. So take it away, Hamish. And
hey, can you hear us?
We can.
Hi, my name's Hamish, and I'm here on behalf of Fitzhurbert Lions Club, and we've obviously got a wonderful team with us today. We're excited to be able to share our story with you, and thank you for giving us this opportunity on this platform to be able to reach the wider world. I know myself and probably everyone in this room has been excited for today and the lead up to it. I'll go around our room and introduce who we've got with us today. First off, we've got Phil. Hi. And Richard. Scott.
Greetings.
Bruce.
Hi.
Brent.
Greetings.
And my partner Emma, who's watching on the side. Who's also alone. So yeah, we're excited. We'll get into it. We'll be starting off with a bit about our club and how we fit into New Zealand, and then we'll roll into a bit of information about how the older people in our club think and how that sort of works for our club, and then we'll switch the table, go for how us younger people think and how our club works, and then we'll get into some facts and some things that we should or should not do that will help clubs. So yeah, that's where we're about to head. All this fancy technology got the better of us, eh? All right, so I'm going to pass it over to Phil now, who's going to speak a bit about New Zealand and how our club fits into the Lions in New Zealand. So take it away, Phil.
Yeah, do you want to move on to the next slide?
Yeah, there's just it.
Yep. Okay, you can see where we are there. Well, first off, I'd like to dispel the myth. New Zealand is not part of Australia. We're a standalone country. The nearest point to Australia is about 1,500 kilometres or 900 miles away. New Zealand is about 1,500 kilometres long and 450 kilometres at its widest point, which is in the middle of the North Island there, you can see. In area, we're slightly less than Colorado and slightly more than the United Kingdom. So it gives an idea. And Palmerston North, in the central North Island there, is a university town with a population of about 90,000. It supports 6 Lions and 3 Leo clubs. Lionism came to New Zealand in 1955 and the Fitzhurbert Club was chartered in 1975. So we'll be celebrating our 50th anniversary next year. Back to you, Hamish.
Awesome. Next up, we'll roll into our club. Is very fortunate to have had and currently have 3 presidents in a row under the age of 30. As you can see on the left-hand side, we've got Scotty over here, who was president year before. And then last year, in the middle was myself, who was president, and then on the far right-hand side, we've got Abraham, who's currently our president at the moment. Obviously, this is pretty amazing for a club, and we'll get into how we did it and why we are where we are as we go through the slides. We'll jump now. So there's been a few key things that have caused us to get to where we are today. First of all was Bruce over here, who brought his son Scotty, who's with us as well, into our club. That was our first turning point for starting to get younger members within our club. Following after that, we had Leo, who's no longer with us. He brought his son in, and then his grandson joined. So we had 3 generations of them in our club at one point. And then following that, his son Brett brought myself and Abraham, who is the current president, into the club. Yeah, that's pretty much how it started. The key points that we've noticed around this is the family involvement and the people that you work with have been key areas for this change. So looking inside those circles and who you're working with or who's in your family that could potentially be interested is a good thing to look at. As we move through, we're also, wrong slide, we're also very fortunate to be able to have chartered a Leo's Club recently. They've just celebrated their 1-year anniversary of starting about a month ago. So far, they've been doing some amazing things in the community. They've been doing some great stuff at their school, a couple of bake sales, raising some money for some different causes. And we've had a few bowling sessions with them ourselves, so that's pretty cool. As we go through our next lot of slides, this is one image that always likes to remain in my mind, and I like to share with a lot of people, that if we keep our old ways, we won't be opening new doors. And by us making the changes we've made, we've actually gone through that open door and continue to go through that open door regularly. So now we'll be going on to how the older people think within our club about having the younger members and get a few of their views on what it's been like for them. So first up, we're going to have Bruce, who's going to talk to us, followed by Phil, and then we'll have Brent. So if you want to take it away, Bruce.
Yeah, as Hamish explained, I brought my son, big fella sitting alongside me, into the club. But prior to that, he came with us. My wife and I were in a club, and him and his brother both came to all our meetings because we needed babysitting. They ate dinner with us while we're having a club meeting, sat in the corner, and so they are well indoctrinated early in their life, which has proven to be quite good. But the younger members in the club, they bring a different different view on the world. Situations like this, last year or a couple of years ago, we would have been scared buddy running out the door if someone had suggested even trying to do something like this. So this is it's a pretty amazing bit of technology. They've got different ideas on fundraising, and they have a huge range of skills that they can impart into the older members of the club. So that's pretty good to be with. Their conversation around the meeting, our meetings and dinner before we have a club meeting is somewhat different to what we used to have, I must admit. But it's quite nice to listen to a younger audience or a younger group chat, or sitting back thinking, I've got no idea what they're talking about, but that sounds good. So they really brought some of the club members. Dragged us up screaming and yelling, because I'm not sure we all wanted to be dragged that way, but that's where we are, and it's been a really cool thing to be part of. And the club itself is just going from strength to strength. We've got members of the club that are part of other organisations in the community, and therefore we're involved in those activities as well. So it's not only them that are broadening their horizons, but the club's getting broadened at the same time by helping out other organisations in the community with similar views. So yeah, that's pretty much me for that one. So yeah, it's been a privilege to be part of it. It really has.
Right, now we're talking 3 bullet points up there: flexibility, mentorship and tradition. And us older members, including Brent and Bruce, who are here this morning, we're mostly retired and quite regimented, and in instances able to share our Lions activities with our family, but it's generally our senior family members, not the junior family members. We need to remember just when we first joined Lions and how much time we were able to dedicate to projects and club activities, and then translate that to where the new guys are now, because that's exactly where they are. They're coming in, they have a lot of commitments outside of Lions, whereas we can dedicate more time to Lions. We now have our business or dinner meetings at a venue that allows members to have a meal or to arrive later when family commitments have been completed. Maybe they don't want a meal, they just want to come in and have a social catch up with the rest of the members. And that's okay because we have no commitment on numbers for meals, so it's a really good idea. Membership. Each new and prospective member is given a basic orientation covering club activities and membership commitments. We now have at each business meeting a 10 to 15 minute session on orientation for new members. This really also acts to serve as a reorientation or rejuvenation for the older members. And we'll plan to repeat this session annually. And now onto tradition. The club has had to consider what traditions are important without going beyond the bounds of our club constitution, our Lions ethics and purposes. We've been made to rethink our membership priorities. We no longer keep an attendance register. The period of service is the time that individuals can give to Lions. And now what we now realize is that we must sow the seed of membership and nurture our young Lions in order to get a healthy crop of project hours from them in the future. I think that's where I'm at. Thank you, Hamish.
Thanks for that, Phil.
Hamish, as you're switching, I do have a question in the chat if you guys would like to take that now, and I think it fits right now because the question is, are your older members receptive to new projects that the younger members bring forward to the club? And maybe I'm jumping ahead.
No, that's all good. One of our guys can answer that.
I would say pretty much always they're receptive. We don't expect all members to work on all projects, but where they can, they come out and enjoy it. So yeah, I think that I'd have to say they are receptive to the new projects that are coming up. Yep.
I think this is a good example of a new modern project that our club's undertaking at the moment. And obviously we've had some good uptake from this as well, which has been awesome. Cool, we'll keep going. This one's you, Brent.
Just reiterating a lot of what has already been said, but our young Hamish here had to go against the flow by joining the club first and then bringing his father along, whereas the other way it's been done. And young Richard over there, his father is a senior member of a very large club in Palmerston North, and we managed to poach him.
Yes.
So
I did.
the most important, I've known his dad for a long time. The most important thing for us as older members is to mentor the younger ones. And we've got to be very flexible. It's very easy to get stuck in your ways and say, oh, we've done this the same way for 40 odd years. Well, you've got to lose that idea, because otherwise you won't grow with new members. And also, you've got to tailor your social events to fit around these people, because our president this year, he's got 2 very young children. So, their focus is slightly different. But the children are a bit like the Harvey family. They're getting brought along to every event. and they're being well and truly indoctrinated in Lionism. That's me, thank you.
Awesome. Now we'll get into a bit of my favourite thing and look at some numbers. We'll first look at our club and how our club is positioned and what sort of age people we have within our club. And then we'll go and look at another club that we recently did a presentation at and see how they fit into the scale as well. So first up, this is our club. As you can see, we've got a nice even spread. Although we don't have a large number of members, the members that we do have give us this good spread and give us this nice average age for our club of 56.5. We currently have a couple more younger members that are looking to join soon that will hopefully bring it down even further. But yeah, this is just for those people who like numbers and graphs. That's sort of where our club is positioned right now. And then if we head on to the next slide, this is a club that we recently visited and did a presentation similar to this at. As you can see, their average age is 73 years old, and they currently have nobody in their club between 20 and 35 years old. This is obviously something that means they cannot forward plan or anything like that, and a key area for them to look at. And there's potentially other people out there as well who are in that situation, and that's what we're trying to help make that easier for you and give you the tools that we've used to get to where we are so you guys can then do the same. I can't see the
Question.
the notes. Is there any questions there or not?
That second club age breakdown looks so familiar. How about the rest
That's
of
for
the...
the rest of the,
Okay.
Oh,
that's for the rest of the club
oh,
clubs.
right.
So I just thought I had missed the question. We'll continue through. So moving on, you'll get to hear a little bit from us young ones now on how we view the club and how we see it. So I'll be up first, then we'll hear from Richard, followed by Scott. So these points that are on the screen now are directly from some of our younger members within our club. The first one on the top left, I believe, is from young Richard over here. He obviously got into joining Lions because his dad was in Lions and his grandfather was in Lions, so the family roles, I guess. The next one down here is about having great opportunities to grow long-term and give back to the community at the same time. I think that just spells exactly what Lions is about. And then the following one over here is about perspective on how our club runs and how we take new ideas born from this perspective, which helps them make themselves feel confident. And I think that's pretty important too, from a club point of view. Next up, we'll hear from Scott. Sorry, Richard, reading the wrong piece of paper.
Yeah, as Hamish said, I've mainly joined because of my grandfather and my father. Both they've got Melbourne Jones Wolves. So it's been a long history right from primary school through to now, helping out, being well involved with all different Lions projects. So I really see it like the lifelong friendships you make in Lions, no matter what age they are. Like I've Brent here, he's real good friends with my father, and building up real good friendships, just through our club and different projects in the community, learning skills from older members and other members in the club. And yeah, just the community involvement is a big one for me as well, and personal growth as well. Yeah, so over to Scott.
So again, my stories are quite similar to Richard's. As Bruce was saying, he brought me into the club at a young age, and I've been brought up a line ever since. I would never look back. Yeah, some of the things our club does, adopting the modern practices, is just stuff like social media is something big we brought in that's helped put the word out. Hamish has been real spearhead on that, so thank you to him. Our leadership opportunities started with me. I was approached at pretty much 20 years of age to take up the second VP position. Was not sure I was ready, but stuck through it. I nominated Hamish as my first VP when I was ready to go, and yeah, we haven't looked back as a club, and it's been amazing. Hamish has carried on the tradition. One of the big things we do is we always try to push our younger members into running our committees, just to get them that taste of the leadership, get them used to putting forward motions, all that sort of stuff, which is really good. That's where I started. That's Hamish started as our program and social director. So he's running our social programs, which has been huge for him. Our equal treatment, you're not made to feel as though your opinions don't matter. That everyone has a voice at the table, which has been huge. It's really something that's helped keep our younger members involved. They don't feel as though they're not being listened to, we're not being ignored. Yeah. And then changes suggested by the younger members. This is a perfect example. Hamish has done amazing work here, trying to putting all this together and pushing this. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what I can say on that.
Thanks for that, Scotty.
Yeah.
I think just off the back of that, while we're discussing that, another key point for our club and the younger members is that within our club and the way our club runs now, we can actually have a go at whatever role we want. If we wanted to be the treasurer or the secretary or anything, all we have to do is put our hand up and say we want to have a go at that, and we know that that opportunity is already there waiting for us. And I think that's pretty amazing. I guess for myself, and I know the other young ones at this table would also agree that there's not really many other organisations around that will just give you those options if you were wanting them.
There's a question there, Hamish.
Yep, sorry, what does it say?
How many women are in your club?
And have they introduced their daughters?
So, all right, first off, the one about how many females are in our club. We're currently a males-only club. Hopefully that will change soon. I'm doing a bit of spade work. I've got a goal to have that rectified by the end of this Lions year. So we'll see how that goes. So far, it's been so good. Was there another comment? Or was it just...
There is one more question in the chat before you move on. It's talking about how about technology with older members. It seems like a constant fight, or people say they just don't want to adapt and learn. How has your senior membership adapted and allowed you to, how are they following along and allowing you to go down the path of technology?
As the oldest member here and one of the senior members of our club in age, I have avoided technology like the plague all my working career. But now that I've got a little bit more time and we've got some patient people coming in behind as younger members, I'm slowly adapting to the new technology. I know that it must happen, but it is taking time for me in particular, but I know a lot of our other members are making the transition much quicker.
Yeah, I'll back that up with Phil. I've been in an occupation where I have needed to grow with technology, so it's been a little bit easier for me. Being in office bound now, it's sort of everything's done over a computer or a screen. Excuse me. So, but yeah, the club has adapted to the technology quite quickly. With everything sort of being done on emails rather than letters and phone calls, it's really just, I'll have to say, dragged us older members up. Some screaming and kicking, but we've got there.
I'm one of the second eldest in this room, and I've always embraced technology, but it's been done within this club very subtly. It hasn't been hit with a sledgehammer. It's been quietly introduced, and that's the key.
I think one of our most favourite parts of technology that we've got in our club now is we've got a very comprehensive email system, and that's been working wonders. We've actually got the Google not-for-profit suite running within our club, and it's helped us with our emails and our storage and everything. So if there's anyone on this chat who's looking at that, if you're a registered charity, which most Lions clubs are, you're actually entitled to get that for free. So I recommend that you have a look into that, and it'll change everything.
What I have noticed is that the younger members seem to use the technology amongst themselves, and then as older members need to be included in that chat group, then they're brought in. So they are not brought in en masse as the club. Individuals are being brought in as we progress.
It seems like you all are reinforcing the whole mentor and reverse mentorship opportunity. You know, the senior members of the club have embraced the younger members, empowered them to embrace, to make changes, and then learning from these younger members, you're enhancing your skills as well. Very, very cool. Thanks, guys. I think that's all the questions for now.
Awesome. All right, we'll roll into some tips. This first one is one that I believe has been talked about earlier in the session, but obviously our club started our path of change by first looking at getting younger members in, obviously looking at members' own children, grandchildren, as they are the future. Obviously Scott's a classic example of that, Richard following through as well. Yeah, and the other mention I made earlier about workmates, I know that I've talked to a few people I know, and there's people out there who are looking to join, they've just never been asked. Yeah, we'll get into that a bit later on our session too. So next up. I believe that one was you, Scotty.
So this is something that I've found has been really helpful. We only have one meeting a month for our business meeting, which is our first Wednesday of every month. We cover all the necessary business, and if there's anything more, it gets dealt with through email or through phone calls. And then usually third week of the month, we'll plan a social event. So we'll go out for dinner, or we'll go 10-pin bowling or mini golf or something like that, just to get the members engaged and out and about. And we're not limiting that to just members. It's partners, families, children, you name it. So just get everyone along, get everyone involved. It's been real good for the club.
I think something worth mentioning on this is our Scotty over here. He's got a work schedule that is 4 on 4 off. So we've got to make our club work around that too, and make sure that those opportunities are there for him to be able to attend while also working in with his work schedule.
Exactly, yeah. Because a lot of our younger members also do night shifts as well, which can be really hard to make it to meetings, but they still want to do everything they can to put the work into the club. So
Please, this one was you, Brent.
Yep, our social meetings, we've got to be prepared to make these things inclusive for everybody, especially like our president with young children. But I just wanted to make one point. Young Emma, sitting over in the corner here, belongs to an all-ladies club. which is Heartland Lions, which my wife happens to be part of as well. And we're doing more things where we're combining socially more often with Heartland Lions, which is another part of the success of keeping young people engaged. Thank you.
Chris?
Club meeting. Excuse me. Club meetings. Yep, we don't sit at individual groups of tables. We have one big table at which the president and the secretary and the treasurer sit in the middle of. And everyone is inclusive. We get the rowdy ones sit down the far end and have to get told off every now and again, but Brent and I get used to that, so that's okay. But we were early on when I was joining Fitzhurbert, we met in a different place. We had groups of tables of 7 or 8 people at a table, and it created little groups, and we decided when we shifted to our new venue that we would go to one table, and it just makes life easier for the meeting. The president has more control over the club. He likes to think anyway, but that's all right. We'll worry about that another day. So it's just everyone gets a chance to speak. We have our committee meetings on the same nights. We just break into committee, have a chat, work out what we're doing in committee, and then the whole club knows what we're doing. So and I think that's been a big thing as well, having your committee meetings, and you know, we don't have a board meeting as such unless we really have to. We do all our club business on a Wednesday night, first Wednesday of the month, so that it's made it really acceptable for everybody.
Thanks.
There's a question, you Hamish.
Do you want to hit it, Phil?
Yeah, there's a question there. Is a plan to form a gender mixed club that would include both women and men? Well, in our city at the moment, as Hamish has already said that he is working on making our club, we're lobbying at this stage members so that we can actually get a mixed club. We did try this a number of years ago and it was unsuccessful. But in Palmerston North at the moment, we have 2 all-male clubs, 1 all-female club, and 3 mixed gender clubs. So people coming in have the options that they can go to whichever club they want to.
I think just on that topic, a key turning point for us that I personally have noticed that has pushed this change as well is that since we recently chartered the Leos Club, we need to be able to give our Leos an opportunity to join our club, and we can't be seen to be taking only some Leos and not the others. So this is a perfect reason for us to make this change now, and that obviously reiterates how we can make our changes to support the young people we're working with.
There's another question there.
Yeah.
Guest speakers.
Guest speakers, I can answer that one. There was, when we were having two meetings a month, our second meeting was a social meeting, and we had guest speakers, we had ladies' nights, we had other bits and pieces. So, but what we've done is we still call it a social meeting, and as earlier presenters have said, you know, we'll go bowling, we'll have the Leos with us, we'll have partners nights, and we'll go out for dinner or go to a dinner and a movie, that sort of thing. So in reality, we do have 2 meetings, but one's very much a social meeting, and guest speakers, we can have them at our main meeting if we need to. You know, if we decide to have a guest speaker, which we do every now and again, just to break it up a little bit more.
In terms of guest speakers, not within our own club, but as Brent was saying about Heartlands earlier, we've had a few invites to their club this year already, and I've had some very good guest speakers, and I've been to a few guest speakers at another club, and I think a key point about that is if you as a club are having a guest speaker that is worthwhile listening to, then you should be thinking to invite those other clubs around you to attend, because there's no point us getting the same guest speaker 5 times and wasting their time when we could all be there together and support them in one session. Where are we up to? Yeah. Right. This is something I hear way too often. I don't know about the others around our table, but I'm sure they can also agree that we hear this probably on a regular basis. So obviously, if this sort of stuff is coming up, we first need to look at our meetings and ask, are they inviting? Can we make them more fun? Can we make them interesting? Would young people want to be here? And secondly, we need to look at our social activities. What are we doing? What activities are we doing? Are we doing a mixed variety? How do we need to change? Are they inclusive of everyone? And as the other said, we normally do a meal 1 month and then we do something the next month that's suited around our younger members. And this, we've got to have that flexibility to make everyone feel included. Are there younger people looking to be involved in the community? Yes, there is. We recently had one of my workmates from my old job join Lions. He's a classic example of this. He'd been looking for an opportunity in the community for about 2 years. He did not know what he wanted to do. He did not have any openings. He did not have anyone tap him on the shoulder or anything. Until one day I was at work with him and I mentioned about Lions and he said, this is just what I've been wanting to get into. I just have never had the opportunity. So yeah, there is definitely young people out there looking to be involved in the community. We just have to put ourselves in front of them and find them. And if we're not getting out there and we're not getting involved and we're not being seen, then we're not going to find them. No one else wants to talk on that?
Scotty just mentioned in my while Hamish was talking then. Before I joined Fitzhurbert, I was in another club, Ruapehu, which is in the centre of the North Island, based at the base of a mountain, active volcano to be quite precise. I used to work in a hard path on the mountain, but that's all right. We didn't have any issues. My wife was a teacher at the school. We both got invited to Lions at that stage, and that's what 19 years ago I joined Lions. And the headmaster at the school was very, very much along the lines that the young people, everything he did was for the young people through school, through his own life. It was very much based around going forward and looking after the young people, and hence the reason he was more than happy. There was my two boys and another young fellow, one of the club members, used to join in, and the three of them would sit in the corner and have a feed and play some games or do drawing while we had a meeting. So, and it's just a matter of as Hamish said, just asking people, and that's probably the big thing. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks. All right. Now we've gotten through all the points that we were going to cover in this little bit. We'll just finish off with something cool that I like to share at the end of each presentation we do. That's a nice little advertising advert. If you guys are wanting to get more Lions in the younger age group, then maybe you could look to do some advertising like this. Yeah, that's us from our presentation point of view.
There's a comment up there about, comment up there about Branch or Amiga Leo Club at the university. Historically, our clubs have been very comfortable in their own skin, yes. And so it's only now that we're starting to get these younger members that we're starting to think of these things. And I'm sure within the next year or 18 months, an approach will be made to try and set up a Leo club at the university.
My wife is the Leo's advisor here in the lower half of the North Island, and she's going to be shoulder tapping some of our younger members very soon to take over the reins to do exactly that.
I think the other market, well, I think you use the word market. The other group that we've certainly looked at in Palmerston North is those people that are not Kiwis, they're not the ethnic groups in the community. And we have a lot of ethnic groups in Palmerston North. We have a couple of people from different backgrounds in the club, and it just brings a whole new vision on and thought to the clubs, and it's something that I know Phil and we've discussed quite often, is sort of reaching out to those sort of people, the other ethnicities. That way you're bringing wider cultural diversity and all sorts of things, and you're giving them a chance to become part of a community where they're just going to be involved in it, and no one's going to look sideways, left or right, up or down, and I think that's important to embrace everybody, and as I say, there's a lot of ethnicities in Palmerston North, so there is a wide field there if we really
Went for it.
push for it, I think is probably the word for it. Yeah.
Gentlemen, I do have a question for you. There was a note earlier, that was a comment made that it looks like you were creating a number of your graphics with artificial intelligence. Whomever created those, would you like to tell us which artificial intelligence bot you used for that?
That was me. Funny. I've been watching your virtual lines for a little while, going on about AI. So I thought I'll give it a go in this presentation. Yeah, I just used the standard one that you can get online, and I just basically put in there, this is what I'm talking about. I want you to make a picture, include the Lions logo, and spit me something out. Took a little bit of refining, but we got there, and we got the images that you see today.
That is fantastic. Speaking of that app, I'm going to show you right now, because you guys were talking about at the end how there's these younger humans are out there and they want to volunteer, and how do we find them? So I'm going to take over the sharing of the screen here for a moment, because I do want to show you something very quickly and how quickly you can find this on your own. Let me show current share. Here we go. I am going to move one little piece out of the way for you here, but I went into Lions Map to Grow, and to get to this is a sub app underneath ChatGPT, and I'll show you how to get to it at the end of the session today. But in Lions Map to Grow, I typed a simple question: how do I find community service minded 30-year-olds in Madison, Wisconsin? That's where I am. It then talks about identifying local networks and organizations, young professionals, volunteer and community platforms, outreach through strategic partnerships, all of which these guys are doing down in New Zealand. They talks about the global membership approach and targeting marketing and recruitment advertising, similar to what we just saw from the Fitzhurbert. I got it, Fitzhurbert Lions Club. But what's really cool about this is, help me identify assets. I just want to show you what happens, because I don't know exactly who's in my community I should be working with in Madison, Wisconsin. Oh, that's not the right question. This is what happens when you ask the wrong questions. This is part of the fun of playing with ChatGPT. I should have said identify specific partners or specific. Anyways, you get the idea. You can play with this. Let me go back in. Identify, do asset-based community development. Interested in community service. So for those of you who can't see, I said share assets in Madison, Wisconsin, community assets in Madison, Wisconsin to reach 30-year-olds interested in community service. And yes, here's a typo, and it doesn't really seem to care how many typos I put in. There you go. That's what I was trying to get to. It gives me specific names of organizations, institutions, and other assets in my community that I might want to work with. It then, when it gets through all of this, I can ask them for content or for contacts at these organizations, and also why they might want to team with us. So this is going to go on for a little bit. So I'll stop sharing because, I live in a large city. I should have picked a smaller city. So anyways, the bottom line is this asset is out, or this app is out there. And I'm going to show you when we get done how to actually access this. But for now, our friends from New Zealand have shared a lot of information with us in the last 45 minutes or 50 minutes or so. Now we want to send you into a breakout room where you can chat with each other about what it is that you're going to take away from this meeting and how you might want to be able to bring it to your own club to help improve and increase the number of young humans in your club and those that are stepping up to leadership. So we're going to give you 15 minutes in the breakout rooms. There will be a moderator or two in each of your rooms that will help you work through the questions. When it's your turn to talk, share your name and where you're logging in from, and then what your key takeaway from this meeting is and how you're going to use it in your local club. It may take a moment here for me to get you all there, but I'm going to send you off to rooms right now, and we will see where things go from there. So have fun in your chat, and we will talk to you soon. So I believe everyone should be back from the breakout rooms, and I'm really excited to hear a little bit about what you guys talked about in your room. So I'll give you each just a couple minutes. Richard, would you like to go first and share with us what the conversation was in your breakout room?
I would be happy to. It was really exciting. It was an all-female group except for me, so it was interesting to get different approaches. Some quick ideas. Meetings to stay connected as opposed to just doing business. Dropping the standardized agenda that some of us have, where we have the and then the speaker and everything. Every meeting is exactly the same, but breaking it up. Letting go of the reins, and I couldn't spell reins, so I had to put letting go of control by the existing members and allowing the newer members. I was really struck with 3 presidents in a row under 30. I've never heard of such a thing. It's heresy. The orientation was a good one. Mentoring for everyone, neat idea. And energizing and fun, fruitful exchange of ideas. Boy, it was fun having a chat, and having more of these kinds of sessions that we're having today would be a very good thing.
Awesome, Richard, thank you. And thank you to everyone in your room. If anyone else would like to drop your thoughts in the chat, feel free to do that. But I'm going to ask Gayla, tell us a little bit about what the conversation was about in your breakout room.
Well, firstly, we had a wonderful group that none of us were from the same continent. So that was incredibly interesting. Mostly create leadership opportunities for the young lions. And I think 4 out of the group said mentorship was so important. Also, when you bring a younger lion in, ask what their skills are and use those skills and make them shine in the area that they're good at. Give them opportunities to develop their leadership skills, and also mentor and bring the Leos on board, especially countries where we have amigo Leos. Don't at 30 decide to approach them. Get them working together with you. So that's the gist of ours.
Fantastic. Such great feedback from both sets of groups. If any of you individually would like to drop what you learned or what your key takeaway is in the chat, that would be fantastic. I think that, Gayla, your group hit on something that's really important, and especially it's important when you ask for anyone to join Lions, but especially with the younger generation. What are they passionate about? What do they want to see change in their community? And then show them how Lions can help them do that. And I think that's fantastic. And Richard, I'm going to let Richard at the end. Richard loves to take photos of our call, of the people on the call. So we're going to get that at the end. And Richard, remind me. But I'm going to bring Hamish and the team in New Zealand back to the screen as we're wrapping up things here. And Hamish and team, wondering if you guys have anything you'd like to share as your final thoughts on today's session. There they are.
Can you hear us? Cool.
We can.
Yeah, I got a couple of things. Just on that topic about using younger people to their skills and where they fit within the club. Something that I forgot to mention earlier that I talk a lot about lately is if we want to get younger members into our clubs, we actually need to go down onto their level and find out what they're involved with and offer to help with the stuff that they're involved with, because then if we can help get involved with what they're in, the reverse cycle will obviously mean that they'll then come to us. We can't just expect it all to be one-sided. And I think that's very important. And we talked about it in our breakout room, and I think it's important to note that for us to get to where we are now, it's taken us 7 years. So it's been 7 years of change to get to where we are now. And if other people aren't starting that or starting to think about that now, imagine what everyone's going to be like in another 7 years' time.
Love it.
Does anyone else have anything?
I'll just make a comment that, you know, we thought that we were sort of groundbreaking and out on our own, but speaking in our breakout session there, that there are other clubs who are doing, not to the extent, but there are other clubs rejuvenating and lowering the age of their membership. So that's really great to see.
And ADHD helps.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Any other comments from our New Zealand friends? Or I'll take you and show you a couple of upcoming events and also talk more about that ChatGPT Lions Map to Grow and Lions Market to Grow.
We just obviously that questions thing we put up earlier. We're keen to hear from people if they have questions or want some support outside of this session. And we're also keen to hear your feedback, how you found this session, what you might want to learn next time, because I suspect this won't be the last one for us. We'll be back again to potentially run some smaller, less informative sessions, but focus on a core area. And yeah, we'd love to know how we can structure our content to support other people.
Awesome. Can one of you drop, whoever's got access right now, drop that email address into the chat again? I did type it in earlier, but I first of all hope I typed it properly. Second of all, you guys can probably copy and paste it, I'm guessing, off of something quicker than I can type it. So fantastic work. There you go. Thank you, Richard Hart. info@fitzherbertlions.org.nz for any questions. So yes, please reach out. There have been some comments in the chat. One of them said it's the best session she's ever been to. So take that home with you, because that's fantastic. It's been a fantastic session. So before we wrap up, I'm going to share a couple of screens here with you all. And let's start with, I showed you briefly the the Lions Market to Grow app. I'm sharing in the chat the links to how you get there. But I want to show you what I did while you were gone. And I didn't want to take up any more time if we're going to run out of time. But after it showed me all of these different groups that we might want to partner with to meet up with 30-somethings in my community, I said, share contacts and why each org would want to partner with us. And it went through and it gives me specifically, Madison Magnet is a young professionals network. Here's their contact email. Why partner? Madison Magnet members are actively seeking ways to build a professional network and engage in meaningful community work. A partnership with Lions Club would allow them to expand their civic impact and add service projects to their activities, which helps boost their visibility and attract new members. Some of the potential collaborations it even lists to co-host volunteer events, leadership workshops, or networking events focused on servicing community impact. It goes through all of the organizations and gives it to me. It took less than 15 seconds for it to run this list. This is a very powerful tool. So to get to this, I dropped the links in the chat. I'm going to share a different screen with you that's got the QR code. If you're a QR code person, that you should be able to just take a photo, put your camera up on photo to this link, the QR code, and it will bring up a link. Don't take a picture, just move it around till it brings up a link. Click on the link and that will take you straight to lionsvirtual.org. In order to use the apps, you do have to have a free ChatGPT account. And that's chat, G as in George, P as in Paul, T as in Thomas. To register for that, if you click on one of the links on Lions, either Lions Map to Grow or Lions Market to Grow, it will take you directly to ChatGPT and it'll walk you through the creation process. You need your name, an email address, and a birth date. That's all it takes to set up a free ChatGPT account. You can go in then and use them at will. Once you create the account, they will always be under your ChatGPT to pick and choose from. But Lions Map to Grow is designed to help you grow your Lions Club, grow your existing Lions Club, or grow new Lions Clubs. And it has a number of prompts and questions for that. Lions Market to Grow is to help you reach out to your community and share what it is we do as Lions to help grow the impact that your club is having. It will help grow membership, it will help grow participation in service projects, participation in fundraisers, etc. So those two apps are very, very powerful. In the chat, I dropped in for you a couple of things. Number one, it was a link to access the apps at lionsvirtual.org. The second thing is the chat that you just saw me create and that I just talked about with you, that sample Lions map to grow chat is exactly what I just shared with you. You should be able to click on that link and access it to be able to see that. If you want to see a full demo of the apps as they were at the end of September, yes, I think it was the end of September, go ahead and check out that app demo, which is about a little over an hour-long video demonstration on how the apps work with questions and answers in there as well. And then there's all kinds of video inspiration in our video library at our Lions Virtual YouTube channel. So that is the Lions Map to Grow and Lions Market to Grow apps overview. Let's take a look at a couple of upcoming events. We at Lions Virtual always have new and exciting things coming down the pipe. And as our friends from New Zealand mentioned, I'm sure we're bringing them back at some point to expound on some of the concepts that they shared with us today. In the chat, I just dropped in the links for all of these different events I'm going to share with you. There's also QR codes here on the screen that you can grab an image of to get to the apps. But our next round of meetings or trainings as of scheduled right now are going to begin in January. So take a look at, we're going to be talking peace with LCIF chairperson Patty Hill on January 4th. And we're going to be talking about our 2025 resolutions for peace and how we can work towards a more peaceful world, one person, one community at a time. Next up, Vice President, Lions International Vice President Mark Lyons is heading up a group of Lions that are focusing on how we market Lions. We will be sharing with you on January 5th a whole session on gamification. What is gamification? How you can use gamification to build a presence in your community and get more people interested in what we do as Lions. And last but not least, in the upcoming events in January, we have another speed learning event. We hosted our first one of these last month, and it was very well received. We had 4 presenters that each present 10-minute segments, and they rotate through so you can hear from all 10 of these, just a short snippet of what it is that their topic is. So you can look to that on Sunday, January 19th. And the very last thing I want to share with you is if you are not yet a member of the Global Lions Forum on Facebook. The Global Lions Forum, also known as the GLF, is a spot where Lions from across the globe have conversations with one another, keeping the conversation going, asking questions. I just dropped the link to register for that, or to register and become a member of the GLF into the chat. Go ahead and join us. We have ongoing conversations, messages and questions come up from Lions across the globe. Our team of admins, led by Lion Richard Stevenson, who's here on the call with us today, ask questions every day and gets answers from around the globe. Here's a great one, especially for a number of us in the US. What does a club do when no one is willing to be an officer to do the administration for your club? There's a number of 93 comments from Lions across the globe on what to do. So join us on the GLF to keep the conversation going. With that, thank you for all you do. Thank you for serving, and thank you for spending part of your weekend with us here at Lions Virtual with our guys and friends from down under in New Zealand and all the amazing information they shared. What an inspiration for all of us. As Richard said in his recap of the breakout room, it is almost heresy to think that there'd be that many people 30 and under as club presidents in a row. Amazing work to you all. Thank you guys for sharing your story. Hamish, Bruce, Bill, Brent, and Richard. And thank you to all our moderators, Debbie Manzel, Gayla Wills, Thibault Richards, Richard Stevenson, Vanessa Harrod, and I think we had a couple other pop in, including Hayat. Appreciate all you do and have a great rest of your day.